guys, welcome you all to my channel. If this is your first time of coming to my channel, thanks a lot. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. So in today's video, I'm going to be making a simple video on how to cut off shoulder bustier and also how to achieve a flay step sleeve. Okay, so our regular sleeve, we are going to have flay and we are going to have about 3 to 6 steps of flay sleeve. So if you are interested in learning how to achieve this, then stay tuned. Don't forget to join us on Facebook, TG Designs, on Instagram, TG Designs, and also visit our website, guys. We have amazing illustration on our website. All the details are going to be in the description box below. So what are the basic measurements required in order for you to achieve your off shoulder bustier? We need our shoulder measurements, bust, waist, hip and our top length. So we'll go ahead now and calculate our measurements. So we have shoulder measurements, which is 14 divided by 2, we have 7. Our bust is 36 plus 2 divided by 4 plus 1, we have 10.5. Our waist is 28 plus 2 divided by 4 plus 2, we have 9.5. Our hip is 38, so we have 38 plus 2 divided by 4 plus 1, we have 11. Our top length is 22, so 22 plus 2 inches, we have 24 inches. So looking at these measurements, you will discover that our bust measurements we added plus 1, our hip we added plus 1, and on our waist we added plus 2. Now the reason why we did this is because for our waist measurements we are going to have that, so the extra 1 inch we added to it is for our dart allowance. Okay, now when you want to achieve your off shoulder, there's something you need to take note of, that is the amount of inches you want to take off to give you your off shoulder. Now note that the amount of inches totally depends on you, so you can go ahead and take and deduct 4 inches, 5, 6, 7. It just depends on what you want to take away from your shoulder to where you want your basic top to get up to. And note that it totally depends on you, but for me I'm going to make it of about 6 inches. You can either increase yours or reduce yours. It depends on how deep you want the neckline to be. So these are the measurements required in order to achieve your off shoulder bustier. Why for our sleeve area, where we are going to have steps of flay for our sleeve, the measurement required for that is your round sleeve and your sleeve length. So our sleeve length is 20 inches. Note that the number of inches you deduct, you are going to use that in your sleeve. Okay, you will understand that better when we get to the fabric, but like I said earlier, I made this of 6 inches for my off shoulder. So for me to achieve my sleeve length now, I will go ahead and deduct that 6 inches which I took off for the off shoulder. So I'm going to have 14 inches plus my 2 inches for my sewing allowance. I will have 16 inches. So it simply means that for my sleeve length now, I'm going to measure 16 inches. Now for the round sleeve, we have 12 divided by 2, we have 6, plus 2 inches for our sewing allowance, we have 8 inches. So for the round sleeve now, we have 8 inches, and for the sleeve length we have 16 inches. For the number of flay you need for your sleeve, it totally depends on how many steps of flay you want to achieve for your sleeve. Okay, so you can determine that you want your sleeve to have 4 steps of flay, 6 steps of flay, 3 steps, 2 steps. It just depends. But note that the more flay you add to this your sleeve, the more the beauty is going to come out and the more full it's going to be. So you can just start from 3 steps. If you don't want it to be too bogus, maybe 3 steps, 4, 5, 6, it depends. But you're going to understand how we'll achieve that in the course of this video. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. If you have any question in the course of this video, feel free to drop it in the comment section, or any topic you want us to make a video on, and I'm going to do just that. Okay, so don't forget to join us for training. We have trainings, both online training and physical training. All the details are going to be in the description box below. The first thing we are going to do now is you go ahead and mark your basic measurements, which we have: shoulder to armhole 9 inches, shoulder to bust 9.5, shoulder to under bust 13.5, shoulder to waist 17 inches, and then our top length is 24 inches. So this is what we have. So we'll go ahead and connect the lines together. Done with that, you go ahead and mark your dart measurement, which is 4 inches. So on our bust line now, we'll mark our dart measurement, which is 4 inches. On our waistline, our dart measurement, and also on our top length. So we'll go ahead with our pattern master and connect the lines together. On our waistline, we'll go ahead and mark 1/2 inch on both sides on our waistline. Okay, mark 1/2 inch on both sides. So we'll go ahead now and connect it together. So connecting the lines, this is what we have. So the next thing we are going to do now is we are going to go ahead and extend our dart line to our shoulder line this way. We'll go ahead and extend it. Now on our shoulder line, we'll go ahead and mark 5.5 inches. So you can either use 5 inches or 5.5 inches. So once you've marked that, connect that to your bust point. So this is what we are going to have. Now on your under bust, go ahead and mark 1/2 inch on both sides. On your under bust, mark 1/2 inch on both sides. Now go in again with your pattern master to connect it together. Now to connect your under bust to your waistline, you are going to use this inner part of your pattern master to connect that, and pattern masters are available at our store. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Now we are going to go ahead now and take our measurements. Our bust measurement is 10.5. We have 10.5. Our waist measurement is 9.5. Our hip measurement is 11 inches. So we'll go ahead and connect this together. Now because of our underbust, because we have a lot of darts going on at this part, we'll also add what we have to this part here. So you check what you have for your underbust. We have about 1.5 inches. So go ahead and add it back to this point. So by the time you stitch here back, your bustier is still going to have the same measurement. Okay, so we'll go ahead and add 1.5 inches across all our basic measurements. So we've added 1.5 inches. So we'll go ahead now and connect it together. Go ahead and connect it together. So once you connect it together, this becomes our new measurement. Now, because what we are dealing with is off shoulder, determine how many inches off you want to take. Note that the number of inches you take off totally depends on you. Okay, so I'm going to make use of about 6 inches. I will mark where I have my 6 inches, and then I will extend it with a straight line because this is going to be my new shoulder measurement. Now at this point now, we'll go ahead and take our shoulder measurement. But before then, always close your shoulder dart. Always close your shoulder darts. Always close your shoulder darts before you take your shoulder measurement. So our shoulder measurement is 7 inches. This is what we have. 7 inches. So go ahead and connect your shoulder measurement to this bust line. So we'll go ahead and connect that this way. You can see we connect it with a slant line. Okay, just go ahead and connect it. Now for the neckline, you can decide that you want yours to be a straight a straight neckline or sweet ass neckline. It depends on what you want to achieve. However, if you want like a if you want yours to have like a sweetheart neckline, all you have to do is go ahead and curve this part if you want a sweetheart neckline. But if you want it straight, you can just leave it this way. So the next thing I'll do now is I'll go ahead and cut this out. So after cutting it out, this is what we have. So the next thing we are going to do now is we are going to go ahead and cut out this bustier effect. Okay, so this is what you are going to have. So go ahead and label it so that you don't get confused. So we have our center front and then we have our side. Okay, so it's the back block. So you go ahead and mark your zip allowance because it's going to have like zips at the back, right? So we have 2 inches for our zip allowance. So we'll go ahead and connect this together. Now with that, you also go ahead and mark your dart measurement, which is 4 inches. On your waistline, you mark your dart measurement and also on your top length. So you go ahead with your pattern master and you connect the lines together. So once you are done with that, on your waistline now, you will also mark ½ inch on both sides. Okay, you will also mark ½ inch on both sides and then you connect it together this way. So because this is the back block, we are not including any form of bustier or any extra dart to it. So you just go ahead and mark your basic measurements. So our bust now and mark your basic measurements, right? So our bust is 10.5, our waist is 9.5, and our hip is 11 inches. So we'll go ahead and connect these lines together. So once you are done with that, you also determine how many inches. So for the front block now, we took away 6 inches for our off shoulder. So for the back block also, we are going to make use of that, which is 6 inches, and then we'll connect it together. So on this point now, we'll also go ahead and mark our shoulder measurements, which is 7 inches. So we'll connect our bust line to our shoulder line. Okay, and for the back block, I'm going to leave my neckline straight because we are not going to have like a sweetheart around the back block. So this is how we went ahead to connect it. So the back block is actually very easy. So the next thing we are going to do now is we'll go ahead now and cut this out and show you guys what it looks like. So this is what we are going to have for the back block. So we'll go ahead now and set this aside. Make use of these African prints, and African prints are available at our store. So I hope you love this burning bush fabric. So guys, now for us to get our sleeve, we took away 6 inches for the basic block, right? So you go ahead and place the 6 inches outside this way. Then you take your top measure, your sleeve length, which is 24 inches. So when you want to take your sleeve length, make sure you place like the inches you took off for your off shoulder this way, and then you take your measurements. Okay, now we took away 6 inches for our off shoulder. Now the 6 inches you took away, come here and mark the 6 inches back. Come here and mark your 6 inches. So let's assume that you took away 4 inches. At this point now, you will mark 4 inches. Now this is what I have now. So we have 6 inches away this way, and our armhole is 9.5 inches. Our armhole is 9.5 inches. Our armhole is 9.5 inches. So we took away 6 inches this way, and our armhole is 9.5 inches. So this is what we have. So you just go ahead and connect it this way. Go ahead and connect it this way, right? Now our round sleeve now is 6 inches for our round sleeve. Our round sleeve now is 6 inches. So you go ahead and connect it to this point. So this is basically how to cut your off shoulder. Let me just come over again. So for you to get the length of your off shoulder, mark the inches you took off this way and take your length. So if you took off 4 inches, you are going to have 4 inches outside. If you took off 7 inches or 6, you are going to have it outside this way, and then you mark your top length. Once you are done with that, the number of inches you took off is what you are going to mark at this point. So we took off 6 inches. Now we are going to mark our 6 inches at this point. Now also you go ahead and place the number of inches you took off, and then you mark where you have your armhole measurement, so that this armhole can fit into the armhole of your top. And you also mark your round sleeve measurement, and then you connect the lines together. So it's actually very, very simple. So we'll go ahead now and cut this out. So this is what we have. You can see our armhole effect, and this is what we have now. So now I'm just going to go ahead and open this up and determine how many layers of flay you want for your sleeve. How many layers of flay you want for your sleeve. So you can make your 6 layers, 4 layers, 5, 10 layers. It depends on what you want to achieve. So let me just go ahead and check how many layers I'm going to fix into my sleeve. Let's say I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can fix about 5 layers or 6 or 4 layers. It depends on how you want it to be. So you go ahead and set your sleeve aside. Go ahead and fold it into 2. We've gone ahead now to fold our fabric into 4 this way. We've gone ahead now to fold our fabric into 4, and we have these closed parts for our fabric. So determine how many, like for you to determine your curve now, you are going to make use of your sleeve measurement. This is our sleeve now. This is our sleeve. We'll go ahead and measure what we have at this point. We'll go ahead and measure what we have. So we have about 19. So we have about 19 inches. So you are going to determine how many inches you will mark at this point to give you that 17 inches, right? So now we have this around this part. We have this around this part. So we'll go ahead and mark it. So we'll check what we have from here to this point. We have 5 inches. So you take it this way. Take it this way, 5 inches. So once you are done with that, go ahead and mark what you have. So we have about 8 inches. So in 4 places you are going to have your 17 inches, right? So this is what we have. Now at this point now, we'll go ahead and mark the length of our flay. Okay, so I'm going to make use of 10 inches because I'm cutting like the lower one first. So I have 10 inches at this point. So place your tape measure. So when you place your tape measure this way, we have 16, but the length of it is about 10 inches. So you place it this way to give us 16. You go ahead and place it this way to give us 16. And then, and then you also place it this way also. So you go ahead now and connect the curve together. So this is what we are going to have. So we'll go ahead now and cut this out. We are through with this. Okay, so we'll go ahead now and set this aside. Go ahead again to fold our fabric into 4 to give us another layer of our flay. So we'll also place our tape measure to determine where we are going to have 18 inches, and it falls around this part. It falls around this part. So you go ahead and place your tape measure this way. We have about 5 inches. So this is what we have, right? So let me just go ahead and mark this. So this is what we have now to fit into our round sleeve. So we are going to take our length now, which is 6 inches. That is half of what we used for this. So we have 6 inches, that's plus our allowance. So by the time I place my tape measure this way, I have 12 So by the time we place our tape measure this way, we have 12 inches, but the length is 6 inches. So we take it this way, 12 inches, go ahead and mark it. 12 inches, go ahead and mark it. So you connect what you have together. So this is our length and this is where we are going to fit in. So now we'll go ahead now and cut. So I've also gone ahead now again to fold my fabric again into 4 this way, and I will go ahead and mark 5 inches. Mark 5 inches. So by the time I check this, I'm still going to have about 8 inches, which is fine. So now for this length now, I'm going to make use of 4 inches plus my allowance. So by the time I check what we have here, we have about 8 inches. We take it this way, we mark our 8 inches. We take it this way now and we mark our 8 inches. Okay, so we have 3, 6 and 10. Okay, so now we'll go ahead now and cut this out. We have our round sleeve now. Let me go ahead now and open this up. You can see, so this first layer of our flare, which is actually very small, is going to fit in this way. Now for the next layer now of our flare, for the next layer now of the flare is going to lay under this one this way. And so for this third one, which is very long, you are going to place it under this way. You're going to place it under this way. So you can see it, but though we are still going to couple this up and you'll still see how beautiful it is. So you can see the first one, you can see the second one, and then we have the third one. So I'm going to go ahead also and cut out these 3 pieces for the second sleeve. So once we cut out the back block, we've gone ahead now to fold our fabric into 2. Once we fold our fabric into 2, we place our back block this way because we are going to have 2 pieces for the back block because of our zip allowance. So we've gone ahead to place it this way and we'll cut this. So for the back block, this is what we have. We have 2 pieces for the back block. So I'll go ahead and take off this paper from here before I start stitching it. So we set this aside. Now for the front block now, we've also gone ahead to fold our fabric into 2. For your center front, where you labeled as your center front should be at this closed part because we are going to have just a single piece for that. So go ahead and place your pattern this way and then you go ahead and cut this out. So for the other side also, for the front block, we have gone ahead to fold our fabric into 2. So we'll place our pattern this way and then we'll go ahead and cut this out to give us 2 pieces. For the front block, this is what we have. You can see we have 3 pieces. This is our center front and this is our side. And for our back block, we have 2 pieces for that. So go ahead and cut out your interface or your lining for both the front block and the back block. And this is the sleeve now. We have the first layer of flare, which is the smallest layer. We'll go ahead and place it. We'll go ahead and place the smallest layer of flare at this edge. We'll go ahead and stitch this. Now we'll take the second layer of flare and place it under the first layer so that it can overlap. Place it under the first layer. We'll go ahead and stitch that. We'll go ahead and stitch that also. So we have the third layer. Place it under the second layer. place it under the second layer, and then we have the last layer which we are going to place at this lower side this way. So this is what we are going to have. We are going to have 4 layers: the first one, second, third, and fourth. Now once you go ahead and stitch them all together, guys, this is what we have. You can see the first layer, second, third, and the last layer. So you will go ahead now and stitch them together. So once you stitch it together, this is what you are going to have. Once you stitch it together, this is what you are going to have. So you can see the first layer, second, third, and the fourth layer. So you can make yours 6, you can make yours 7, it just depends. You can make yours 3 or 2, depending on what you want to achieve, right? So you just go ahead now and couple them up, and you can see this is what we have. Now for the regular sleeve, that is the sleeve, you can see the regular sleeve inside. So you're still going to fit in your hands this way. So you still fixing your hand this way, you can see it. So your hand, you still go ahead and fixing your hand this way. So you just couple it together, and this is what we have. So I'll show you guys how to attach this. I'll show you guys. This is the back block where we have 2 pieces. We've gone ahead now to turn it with our lining, leaving the armhole part. So by the time you turn this out, now you will discover that, okay, let me just turn this out so that I can show you guys what you will have when you make your lining shorter than your fabric. That is when you are cutting your lining should be shorter than your main fabric. So let me set this aside. Now look at this. Now we've gone ahead now to turn it to the front. So look at this and look at the lower part of this. You can see that our lining went up with about 1.5 inches. That is because when we are cutting the lining, we cut the lining shorter than the fabric. So by the time you stitch this, you are going to have your lining coming up, and it just kind of make your work have like a very nice and neat finishing. You can see this is what it looks like now. So now you go ahead now and stitch your darts. All you have to do now is measure your 4 inches which you placed for your darts, and then you go ahead and stitch your darts for the back block. Front block, we have 3 pieces for the front block. Now because what we have here is a bustier effect, we have our wording, and I'm making use of the medium form of wording. Now this wording has like the shiny part and the smooth part. So go ahead and iron this shiny part to this fabric this way. This just enables you to pad your bust, and you can see we have about 4 pieces. So you just place them this way. So once you've placed it this way, you've gone ahead now to iron it. You will now stitch this part. Go ahead and couple this up, and also you also couple this part up. So once you do that, you are going to have like a single piece. So I'll go ahead now and do that and show you guys what it looks like. So guys, for the back block now, we've fixed in our darts and also our zip. So I'll go ahead and cut the excess of the zip off. So this is what we have for the back block. While for the front block, we've gone ahead to couple it together to give us a single piece, and we've also turned it with our lining also. So what you have to do now is go ahead and place the both pieces together this way. Place the both pieces together this way. Make use of your bust measurements, your waist measurements, and your hip measurements, and you couple this up, okay? But before the second sleeve, this is what we have. So you can see how beautiful our sleeve is. So if you love this video, give this video a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. So this is our sleeve now. We want to attach our sleeve to the main fabric. Now you will see that for our sleeve we have this slanted part, which we kept for our sleeve, which is the armhole. So go ahead now and take one slant part of your sleeve and attach it. Just go ahead and attach your sleeve to your basic block, making use of this slanted part to one part and the other slant part to the other. So once we couple this up, for the other sleeve also, we also have the slanted part also. So you go ahead and fix the slanted part on this side, and you can see the beauty of our top, right? So we'll go ahead and so guys, this is what it looks like. You can see the layers of our flay, and you can see how the off shoulder looks like. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give this video a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe.